recording.
We're recording. Welcome to What's Happening Here.
Are you doing?
What?
Are we recording video for this? Are we doing?
Well, this is the behind the scenes video. So they can watch the behind the scenes video on YouTube and we can have the audio for the podcast. We're hoping over time that we'll get so good at this that we'll be able to look at the camera.
Okay,
and
so
do this
you're
at the
not
same
just... We're doing this now
time.
because you just went right into it.
I did?
Yeah.
Did you want to do something else?
Well, I thought we would like kind of queue up and be like, all right, we're ready.
Oh, okay.
You know, like clink glasses
Cheers.
and say, hey, good luck because the shit show's about to begin.
Get it.
So
We'll do
right
it
now, for
again.
today, you're just concerned about the audio?
I think we should just concern ourselves about the audio and
And
make-
can we
make it the
separate
best
that
we can be?
file in
Absolutely.
Ecamm Live so we can just post an audio version?
Mhm. And the podcast part will be posted on multiple channels in audio and then on YouTube with the YouTube channel we create.
Okay.
On video. But this way we have both.
So I'm not worrying so much about the video today. We're just going to record it as practice, but we're going to be we're doing it all as practice, but hopefully we can
Yeah.
something
Like I
together.
said, I think we'll probably post this part and show people on YouTube what it was like to start our first podcast.
What behind the scenes
The
of
behind the
two
scenes.
amateurs.
Trying to figure it stuff out.
Can I curse? Is that
Yeah,
okay?
I think you can.
Okay.
You're doing the editing, so you can do whatever you
Oh, that's
want
a good
and then
point.
make a decision
Yeah.
later.
Well,
what you
we'll
want.
decide how difficult it is to edit because I don't know how to do that, but we'll
Right.
figure it out.
You'll figure it out.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do.
I was gonna. What's the other one? Like,
I don't know, but
Baby
the Jamie character on those Progressive commercials has a lot of great ones.
Okay. All right, here we go. All right.
All the oxen free.
There you go. All right. You ready?
We have to have a pause
Yes.
and then a lead into it.
Yes. It's funny that you're the editor across the board in both the print and video.
I don't know how to count.
Welcome to What's Happening Here. I'm Sarah, and this is Kev. And cheers. This is our first podcast. We're very excited. We're drinking a little champagne to start this off, right? So this is a podcast where we talk about finding the perfect imbalance of being a parent and a partner and an individual without losing the things that matter to you most. What do you think?
Absolutely.
You might know me as Dr. Sarah, the Brain Gal. I'm a pediatric neuropsychologist that translates brain science to everyday life, and I really see kids, and I would say all people, like little brains. It's my strength and my weakness. And we started this podcast because we saw a big gap between the research and practice, especially when you have a family structure that's unique and different. I think we really had trouble with that translation. And that's one of the reasons I think we called it this perfect imbalance. Don't you think?
Yeah, it's, realistically, it's never going to be in balance. You're always going to have to make concessions to this or step, to fix this imbalance, and it's never going to be perfect. So instead of stressing out about trying to be balanced in all things in your life, just accept the fact that it's going to be an imbalance.
Kind of a shit show.
And it's going to, right. And it's going to shift, right? Like you're going to find an imbalance. You're going to do something to correct that. It's going to be imbalanced again. And it's a seesaw. I just look at it as like you're on the playground and you're seesawing back and forth. And that's really what life is, right?
Right.
Life is not this balanced, constant, great, roll. It is an up and down. It's a seesaw. And that's really what life is. And sometimes you're up and sometimes you're down. And sometimes you might get in a stalemate with a kid who weighs the same as you and neither one wants to go down.
That's true.
And so you just stay in the middle.
Well,
sometimes, briefly, but other times you're back and forth.
Right. And
Really.
I think that's why we talk about this perfect imbalance too, because it never feels like you're meeting everybody's needs all at once at the right time. But we also talked about not losing yourself. And I think sometimes what happens with parents and even with divorced parents, and we're blending families, that, you have to keep everybody's priorities in mind, but also recognize that it's okay if somebody's comes a little ahead of somebody else's, as long as you're not completely on the bottom of the list, both as individuals and as a couple.
Absolutely.
Which is hard to do, right? When you're
Yeah, I mean, I think as somebody who is, gone through a divorce and has kids, and you're trying to make sure that you are being a good co-parent. You're trying to make sure that you're being a present parent to your children, and you're trying to be a good partner to your new partner, and you're trying to make sure that you're just doing everything right. And it's not there's no way to do that.
Right.
There's no way to do that.
No way to do it
Perfectly. And exactly, and so there's always going to be that. And what we're talking about, that last part of, when we talked about you as an individual, you cannot forget that you can't get lost in all of your roles that you have. As being a parent, being a partner, trying to be a good co-parent, and then
being
a job, your career that you have. So many people, I've met a lot of people over the course of my life who, their identity is either they're a mom, right? Or they're a professional in whatever career they're in. And that's
this, right? And
that's how they identify. Like you can gather that, in the first few minutes of meeting people, like, oh, she identifies as a mom, or she identifies as a professional, and her job is her identity. But I think we're so much more than that. And I feel bad for those people who are so consumed by the role that they're in, or the role that they're playing, that that it consumes who they are. And I feel like there's so much more to people as individuals than all the roles and responsibilities that they have.
I think life is that perfect imbalance, even within the individual. You mentioned being a mom or a professional. And I think that especially nowadays, we are blended in a lot of different ways. And so, I'm a mom, but I'm also a professional, and I'm also a partner. And all of these things are equally important to me. And that's okay. And I think that's the new style. And so when we speak to people, we're speaking to people who really do want to be more than one thing. Because, if you identify purely with a mom, what happens when you get divorced and that mom role shifts a bit? Or what happens if you identify as being purely a professional and you lose your job? We like the well-rounded nature of things. And I think we're going to talk a lot about that. And actually, I don't think we've talked much about who you are. So I'm going to try to introduce you.
Okay.
Let's see how this goes. So I would say Kev is an amazing dad of 2 kids and a pretty darn good partner, a great editor. I realize you edit not just my clinical work, but I think you're also going to be doing some of this podcast work.
So I'm good at editing words. We'll see how I am at video.
Exactly. And you're a confidant. You're somebody that I can really talk to and connect with, and someone who can keep up with me and also slow me down at times, which I think is great. You have your MBA. You have a background in marketing and PR and business liaisoning, as we've come to kind of call it, translating between departments and between people and things. So you really do have this great eye for understanding what people mean and how they think and how that applies to changing behavior. So it's been kind of a fun journey to be on with you with this. And I think that's, again, one of the reasons we did this podcast. You're such a passionate man in all ways. And it's been neat to be able to ride those highs and the lows. You call it a seesaw. I've called it a roller coaster. Where life in general is a roller coaster of these ups and downs, and we've rode some of those together. So it should be a fun journey that we're sharing with everybody.
Yes, that was very nice. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Sarah is a neuropsychologist, a pediatric neuropsychologist, and author.
Yes, I've made him say that 4 or 5 times fast.
Yeah.
With champagne.
With champagne. A few glasses of it. And I think what best describes you is you are one of the most positive, optimistic people I've met. and in contrast that with what you've been through, you really shouldn't be. You really shouldn't be as
There's
optimistic.
The cynic.
Right. So I'm like, You're doing it all wrong.
You should be miserable.
You should be like the rest of us. No. So you are incredibly optimistic. You see the positive in people, and you keep hoping that will shine through. And that to me is a balance, right? Like that is, I think, why we are such a good partnership, because I am not necessarily that optimistic about people.
Naturally.
And you
You're
are,
coming
and
around.
you're such a good cheerleader for the people that you love and that you care about. And even the people that you don't know, you're in there, you're reading about people. Oh, I hope they do it. Like you're in there, rah, rah. You're really hoping for the best of people. And it's infectious. It really is. It makes the people around you, who might be a little sullen or, not as optimistic as you, you kind of push your way into there, and you just give them that sense that, like, all right, it's not as bad as it may seem. You can be a little bit more optimistic and happier about the world. And you are really great about, handling individuals as you're great at recognizing how a person thinks and works, and then working with them in that way. And I think that's taking kind of an approach like that is I don't want to say it's you're aware of people, and how they operate and how they think, and I think you connect well with people, and I think that's one of the things that's so admirable about you.
Oh, that's sweet.
And that contrast is what makes, I think, us a great partnership. I try to be optimistic. It's just not in my nature all the time, and when I get down to not being optimistic, you're there to bring me up and say, no, come on, it's not that bad. We can get through this.
Well, it's that perfect imbalance, right?
Right. And I think like it's what makes it great is having a partner like you, is that we can both be ourselves and be as up or down, and there's the partner to help balance you out. So.
Yeah, I think we've been together for years now, and we're blending families, and I have 2 kids. You have 2 kids. Mine are 10 and 11. Yours are
15 and soon to be 13.
15 and soon to be 13. Oh, my goodness. So we have a big range of kids, right? What?
She's 11 and 10. They're 11 and 10, not 12 and 11.
Mine are 10 and 11. We have 10, 11.
10, 11, and 15, 13.
Well, 10, 11, soon to
11,
be 13.
10.
Yeah. That's
right. That's all. That's.
We only have 4, right?
There's only 4.
I think we've only have 4.
Okay.
Yeah, and
sometimes it feels like there's a lot more than that.
It does. Well, and to your point, we do sometimes pick up some extra kids and some extra people. We have a great network of friends that we, we'll talk about them a lot, because they're our family in a lot of ways. And that's what we mean about having a different family structure. And I think, having studied brain science for over 15 years and doing a lot of the parent coaching and, doing looking at people's brains and their patterns, and like you said, working with families, and you editing all those reports and getting a sense of what they're all like, and probably being able to do a lot of that for yourself now. When we started doing this,
but I don't, for the record. If any of Dr. Sarah's clients are out there, I am not. I'm just reading them and correcting some
HIPAA, FERPA compliant.
Yeah,
we're all
grammatical errors there.
Yes.
Especially the ones that occur over and over and over again, and I have to continue to fix them every single time. Not bitter about it at all.
It's a good partnership when someone's going to do it, so you don't have to worry about that.
You always have to insert that comma every single time.
And I think the more we did that, and we started blending our family, we realized, and the pandemic and, quarantining with, our family, our friends who are our family, and, just the dynamics of all of that the books just don't really tell you anything. And so I think we really decided that what we want to do is bring you these fun discussions about things that have happened in our life, information, resources, maybe some tips and tricks that you can use. But mostly I think we just want to feel connected to you and help all of us maybe laugh at these situations that come up and lean on each other. And we have these hard times,
I think
right?
what we're trying to do is to connect with a group of people out there who have some shared experiences, whether they're married or they're divorced and they're they're in their nuclear family, or they're in a blended family, or they're don't have a family, but they can relate to some of the experiences that we're going through or we've gone through, and we can kind of talk about our experiences. Sarah's got this wonderful clinical experience, and we have some practical experiences through life's ups and downs. And
well, it's tons of fun being in a relationship, right?
oh, it's great being in a relationship with a pediatric neuropsychologist. Believe me.
Yeah, if you didn't want to communicate, I got news for you. That's just not happening.
It's not an
We're
option.
actually going to bring you a podcast.
Not communicating is not an option.
Not an option. Not an option. So it should be fun. I think we're going to have a really good time. And, each episode we're going to share our experiences, in co-parenting, maybe from our journey and our history, our journeys together. And we're just going to try to figure it out. Sometimes we might need some help. Sometimes we might bring on some experts, but
they're going to help us try to figure out what's happening here.
Exactly. Touche. Good job. Yeah. So before we go, we're going to talk a lot more about who we are, and we're going to get into some of these podcasts in the next couple episodes. But I thought it might be fun to play a game.
All right.
Would you like to play a thinking game with me?
Aren't all games thinking games?
I think so. All right. So let's do this. I'll say a word, and we'll see who it describes more or less. Maybe we can figure that out, and maybe you can throw some words out there.
Okay.
How about patience?
You.
I have more of it?
Yes.
Are you crazy?
Well, this is the thing. I think this is the
not in the
interesting
clinical
part.
sense, just in the
Right. Yeah. No. We're not being diagnosed. So I think it does come to. This is the thing about it that makes it great, is that I think outside of our relationship, both of us would probably be described as being very impatient.
I am not business-wise. I want to do things quickly and efficiently and effectively. I think even in my, with my children, but you're right. Like there's some especially our relationship. I think there's been a lot. I've been very patient in our relationships, just trying to figure out how to land things, how to keep them going,
Right. And I think it comes down to really a case-by-case basis. Is who is the more patient one? It depends on.
I think you're the most patient.
Which kid we might be dealing with at that particular time.
Oh, I see where your mind went. So you went right to kids. I guess
I'm
I'm a little more patient there, but you're more patient in life in general.
I disagree. I think it
can
varies.
Allow people to come to realizations on their own. You can wait things out.
Okay, I've had enough of this topic.
Slower.
Let's move on. Next word.
All right, you want to go? Or you want me to
go? Well,
you can think of your own words if you don't.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't like the words on your list because. Let's see. Word association. Let's go with enthusiasm. Enthusiasm, if I could say it correctly.
Enthusiasm. I was gonna say, I guess me in a lot of ways. But I think you are excitable. Like you go probably up higher than I go. I think I'll get excited about things and try to run. It's that positive thing again, like kind of running and thinking, oh, we can do this. This will be so much fun in that way. But I think generally in terms of enthusiasm and things that come up, you probably take the cake in that. I don't know what you think.
Probably. I am more
excitable.
Polarized.
Ooh, interesting.
I go from one end to the pole.
That's true. You are higher. You would get higher than me when you get excited about something. That's for sure. Okay, you're done. All right.
I'm so patient.
Well, passion. I think that's you. You're very passionate.
I'm not going to argue
Yeah, I think that's definitely you. I might get excited about
I think that
things we're
goes with
doing.
enthusiasm.
Yeah,
As Carter says, he's very passionate.
he's very passionate. Yes. Yes. Yeah, it goes to that extreme, the high and the low, right? It goes
Yes.
together.
Yeah.
All right, you want to go? You want me to go? You don't like my words, so you have to pick one.
I'll have to pick one. Generosity.
Ooh, my instinct is to say that would be you. I think you're very, very generous in your time, in your support of people.
Mm.
You make that extra effort to do the things sometimes I think about that I want to do and get caught up in my head about doing for other
There's
people.
a lot
You
going
do.
on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. But you actually go and do.
There's
like
not
you
a lot.
encourage me.
I don't
to do
have a
those
lot
things.
going on.
Those are
so there's a lot less to weed through.
Those I think I definitely think that's true. That you are more generous.
Well, we'll see over the course of our podcast,
There you go.
really, if any of these play out for our listeners and see if they agree
Yeah.
based on the stories that we tell and the experiences that we share. And well, maybe we can figure out what's happening here.
There you go. Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks for listening.